It's the Purge. It's time for the Purge. And I've been agonizing over this. I want to aggressively be getting rid of games here. And there are so many that are on the chopping block that I really should just pull the trigger on and accept that they haven't gotten to the table, that they aren't getting to the table. But this is the gauntlet. I'm going to throw it down at the end. If I haven't played those games and enjoyed them by the next time I feel like I need to purge, they gotta go. That's the rule. So I'm letting myself off the hook for some of them, but some of these are not getting let off the hook, and I have 15 games to go. I think that's pretty fair, because I do not have space to keep them all. Although hopefully someday I will. But until that time comes, we have to be choosy and choppy. And so that's what we're gonna do today, and I'm just gonna talk through them and say why they're just giant dumpster fires worth of trash. No, they're fine. They're fine. Honestly, I want to keep some, but I'm just not playing them, and I'm not going to pull them off the shelf. I think the thing with these purges is you have to realize that if you get a game in a bundle 5 years ago, and you never open it, and you don't know anything about it, then you shouldn't be hanging on to it, even though it has a cool little... Oh, I'm here, I can do it here. A cool little dual layered thing. This is one from a glut of older games that I got where I was like, I'm going to review older games because that's going to make me stand out on YouTube. And then I didn't. I chased the cult of the new, and I've never touched this game. But I thought it looked cool. It's a smaller box. It looks fine. You know what? More games are going. Manhattan Project's gone. Done. I'm getting it. There. I've made the decision. That's what this sort of... That's what purges do to me. We'll get to Manhattan Project in a second. That's something I played. Apocalypse Chaos, I haven't played. And if a game isn't exciting enough to get off the shelf, or if I'm too worn down by learning other games that I have sworn to review, and those just keep piling up because I can't say no, there's no way that I'm ever going to get to it. It looks cool, allocating dice to perform actions, 7 missions. Seems neat. Are we going to get to it? No, never. So it's out. Another one that's going out, which I really think I was on the fence with, but I put it back on the shelf, and I took it off and I put it back on the shelf. Is Manhattan Project. I have Manhattan Project Energy Empire that I still haven't played, and so I'm not going to get back to this one. And this was actually a really fun game. It's just not something that I have gotten that much to the table. What I really do enjoy about this one is the sort of variable worker placement game. You're getting these different engineers and scientists, and you can recruit them, and you're chaining your engine together. You can just bomb your opponent's base, or you can build up your own. You can go back and forth with what buildings you buy. You can use those for free and it's fine, or you can use other people's buildings, but you gotta pay them stuff. It is a really fun, like slick game, but it's just not one that I'm getting to the table. I still definitely recommend. If somebody's like, you wanna play Manhattan Project? Absolutely. I will say yes pretty much every time. Honestly, a lot of these games I will say yes to playing, for sure. But that one's out of here. Another thing that's out is the Temu bootleg copy of Avalon. Yeah, Temu's board games are only counterfeit, and I bought this to check if it was counterfeit, and they were counterfeit. I'm keeping the Crew counterfeit one currently. Probably should go buy it, but honestly, I don't really like the Crew that much. So that one should go as well. Yeah, my parents have the Crew. That's gone. Into the bundle you go. I also dropped a heavy box on it and damaged the box. And that wouldn't happen to the real deal. Crew's out of there. Because the people who I would play the Crew with don't exist. No, that's not the sentence. The people who I would play the Crew with have a copy of the Crew. Again, the Crew is fun. Little trick-taking game, cooperative, don't say anything to each other. I love spending all of my pleasure time in silence just staring into each other's eyes and hoping that they'll get the message that I'm desperate to convey, but the rules of the game say I'm not allowed. Yeah, the Crew is a fun game, but it's gone. I don't play it. Okay, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better about this stack now that I threw in Manhattan Project and the Crew, some things that people have heard about. One thing that you haven't heard about is this game, Polis, which I think there might have been a new reprint of this that's come out. This one also looked fun, Seven Wonders-esque. Again, I got it in a bundle of games and intended to get to it, and I didn't, and I'm just never gonna. You know, I find that sometimes I am so tired. I'm just so tired. And sometimes I just can't read the rule book. Sometimes I need to go over to Zach and say, Zach, please read the rule book with me and figure this game out with me. And Zach is the bestest friend and does that. But you know, we're not doing it with Polis because it's 3 to 5. So that's out of there. Okay, here's a good one. Here's a good one that people will shout at me for, and I really stand by this. Seven Wonders Duel is gone. Oh, there's lift. There's so much lid lift. Of course. Oh, it was literally one single token that was there. It's like, oh, it's not closing. Yeah, now it closed. Okay. Because I have elastic it because it's a silly. Seven Wonders Duel is gone. Seven Wonders Duel, I think, for me, would be one of the most overrated games. I just don't have fun with it. And I tried playing a bunch on Board Game Arena to see if playing a bunch of games back to back would make me have fun with it. I just don't really like the tug of war mechanism that's in it. I think that really puts me off. I don't really get that much satisfaction with the back and forth and the struggle for the science symbols. I don't know. There's so many of these like dual games that don't really hit with me in a way that other two-player games or two-player just the normal two-player version of regular games do hit with me. Like this for me, Seven Wonders Duel is, that's not the right way. We got there. It's just not a good time. I never reach for it. I know other people like it. I'd be happy to play it with somebody. Like I think it's a solid, 5 out of 10 in the Zach scale. But it's just not something that like I gravitate towards or really, really love. And I think for my two-player experiences, I like games that aren't designed for two players. Maybe I don't like two-player only games. That might actually be a thing. I play a lot of games with 2 players because I'll play it with Zach or I'll play it with Renee or I'll play it with somebody else. But things that often have like that two-player only thing doesn't do it for me. So Seven Wonders Duel is gone. This one kind of makes me upset. This is Utopia.
It makes you upset. Why are you getting rid of it?
No, it makes me upset because it wasn't that good, and I was hoping it would be good. I thought it was fun. Like it was a fun game. They sent it to me for review. I have a review on it. I hope. I think I've got a review on it. Yeah, I mean, I know I played it for review. And the theming of this seems really fun. I thought this was going to be like a fun Lords of Waterdeep style game, but when it comes down to it, I would just rather play Lords of Waterdeep. You're getting, the comparisons to Lords of Waterdeep are that the theme doesn't matter and you're just getting different colors of chips. That's it. But yeah, the production quality on this was really nice. I like the concepts behind it, but it just sort of didn't sing that much with me. And it's not something that I unfortunately would reach for ever. So I knew kind of when I was doing the review that like that wasn't going to stay in the collection. But yeah, a little bit disappointing because I really sort of high hopes for that. Something that's on its way out the door too is this little Hex Effects. This is the reviewer prototype version of Hex Effects. Maybe I shouldn't. Honestly, I should probably just recycle this. Because that's generally what you're supposed to do. Oh, this seems like pretty much the full game, but with any sort of like prototype stuff, I never like to pass it on to anybody else because people generally don't like that. So yeah, this will be, I don't know, probably recycled. The art is really cool on this, but it's just like a cute little Take That game. Maybe it'll stick around. I don't think it will. A couple other small card games that are going. One that I did a designated review on and one that I didn't. Spicy, which Cockroach Poker is just better. That's just how it is. It's Cockroach Poker, but less fun. And then this is the game Gap, which I've never really talked about on this channel. And you can see on the back, there are these sort of different symbols. You want to collect all of the same symbol, and you want there to be a difference in the number that you collect them with. You'll be collecting cards from this sort of central row and trying to get points for them. This is a really weird one that I think is going to have a hard time finding an audience. Arcane Wonders was like, hey, check this out. And I thought it was fun, but I could never really see myself playing it actively with people who were like more hardcore gamers. And I think that's who this is for, because it's like a weird sort of complex system. It's not like a really easy pick up and play card game. All the cards were foil. The production quality was really nice, but it just didn't really sing for me. So that's just getting off the shelf, essentially. A couple of other ones that are also leaving. This one's gonna go to Renee's nephew. It's called Blob Party. I think Blob Party is a fun game. I think it is. It's a fun little party game. I think you can play it with a lot of people. Basically, you have a prompt and everybody's trying to write the same answer. So it's like reverse just one. Or green team wins or something like this, where you all have to mind meld to get the same answer. Definitely cute, definitely fun. The Play-Doh's like a highlight of it. And Renee's nephew enjoyed it, so I'm just going to give it him because I don't see myself like necessarily reaching for it. I would rather play something like Wavelength personally because you get a larger group, but it's a fun gimmick and like totally nothing wrong with it. For sure, Blob Party's fun. And honestly, if I was a solo player, I'd be keeping this. This is Super Skill Pinball. It's a fun roll and write game as you bounce around a pinball machine. If you're a pinball enthusiast or you like the theming of that, this is a really nice translation. I had a good time with this game, but it's not something that I'm really going to reach for when I have spare time. And I'm at the point where I want to curate my shelves so that if somebody comes over and they look at my shelves and they say, hey, do you want to play that game? I will be thrilled. I will be filled with joy. I will be bursting from the seams with excitement to be playing a game with that person in my home, you know? And I want that for my shelf. And Super Skill Pinball doesn't satisfy those requirements. So it's gone. Now we're getting on to the really tough stuff. Well, we had a few tough things. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this haul. This is one that would hurt me to get rid of, and I think I'm still going to, unless Pat, if you're watching, Pat, you can have this game. You just have to contact me. Well, maybe I'll send Pat a message. So he's busy. He's doing Waiting for Godot. Pat wanted me to bring this for the summer to play, and it was one of the ones that we didn't get around to playing. And because of that, Pat, it's now leaving my collection. I got this game for a bottle of gin. I traded a bottle of gin for it into this Toronto trading group. And I felt very satisfied with that trade. Tammany Hall is a really fantastic area control game. And the reason why I'm thinking about having it leave my shelf, well, why it is going to leave my shelf, is because I love area control and I have so many area control games. And I think the theming of this one and the sort of tight scoring of this one makes it a little less of an easy sell to people when they come over. It also takes a little bit longer. There's a lot more chances for people to hate each other after playing it. And I just don't want that bad blood in my house. No, and so I think because I have so many other choices for area control, I think Tammany Hall is going to get the boot. I haven't played it in a very long time, even though I think it is just a really great, great game. And I would be very happy to play it whenever, anytime. But I just don't see it getting off of my shelf with my group. And that's essentially what this comes down to, right? Like, and especially in your purges. And if you're out there, if you've never purged a single thing, please start. Like, do it. You're not allowed to have games on the floor. And there are the games out there that don't get off the shelf, that don't get played, even when you bring them specifically for a summer to someone who wanted to play them, right? There are reasons why these things don't get played for one manner or another, and they're just taking up space. They're taking up space in your mind, they're taking up space in your heart, and they're taking up space on your shelf. Where was I? I got distracted. I was looking at my phone. Oh yeah, Tammany Hall is a bad game for bad people. Dang. I really like this game. Gotta go. It's out of here. All right, next on the things that I was lying to myself about wanting to try, again, Dragon Bond. I have the base pledge for Dragon Bond and the expansions, Dragon Bond Lords of Vala, which is a little like programming game that is a team game. And if you're looking for a team game, this could be a fun team game because you don't know who your ally is going to be at the beginning of the game. But you will have an ally, and you will not play the game without an ally. And that is where sort of the pitch for the game didn't illuminate itself to me until I actually played it. I like a lot of aspects of this game. You're going to be programming face down one at a time what you're going to do. And so coordinating that and sussing out what the opponents are doing, I think that's neat. There's a little little fun bit of asymmetry here with the dragons just being themselves and the generals having armies that they can spew out, which is fun. One of the dragons can like eat the armies and get super powerful. If you are teamed up together, you can just sacrifice your people to the dragon. Like, all that is really fun. I just think this will flourish at 4 people as that team game, and I was really hoping that you could do it alone. And I haven't even played this copy, but even just looking at it on the shelf and seeing it take up so much space with the stretch goals, which is its own sort of war game, again, a 2-player game that I got really suckered in with the Kickstarter. Again, this is a great Kickstarter, great deal. Don't regret purchasing this whatsoever, even though I'm not going to play my copy once. Still don't regret purchasing it, which is a weird thing. It just ended up being not for me. I played this elsewhere, and it didn't really work out for me. So Dragon Bond's gone. It's gone. Another one that's gone is going to be Fall of the Mountain King. I don't know if you saw my review or not. I have a review of this game. This is, again, a game where I think the bones of this game are really, really good. There's just so much fiddly stuff in it that I will never teach it to new players, really, ever. And if I were to play it with people who play this game a lot and love this game, I think I'd have a fantastic time. But I don't think those people exist. I think those people have given up on this game like I am. Yeah, it doesn't earn its spot on my shelf like Hall of the Mountain King does. Hall of the Mountain King I'm keeping. I got both from Burnt Island to review. Hall of the Mountain King for sure I'm keeping. Really fun little polyomino efficiency puzzle. This one, I like the area control, but again, it's fighting for a lot of competition in that genre, and no way am I ever teaching this to new players ever again. Just, it's never happening. The point system in this is so convoluted that I just couldn't bear it. But yeah, I still think, again, it's one of those things where if people really wanted to play it and knew how to play, absolutely would be down, for sure, would be fun. But not for me. And then finally, I have 2 more. Number 1, which honestly, this won't come out until the review for this is out. So you might have seen a review for this recently. We have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, this huge chonky box, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice, which if you watched the review, or if you didn't, I had such high hopes for this game, and it started out so good, and then it never improved. And so you'd think it would remain so good, but then it was like, oh no, though so good was really just the potential of this game. It was fine. It was fine. There was no world where you ever would need this collector's edition. You just wouldn't. I think the gameplay suffers for the bloat of all the minis that you use maybe once. You know, the in-between mission phase isn't that exciting, and it just takes up space on the table. And the missions are kind of so quick that you spend about as much time setting them up as you do playing the actual mission. It wasn't really a hit across the board for me and the people who I played this with. I played the entire campaign of this because we were like, okay, we got to see if it gets better, and it just sort of plateaued, which was a little bit unfortunate. Some of the stealth was fine, but I am hopeful that other stealth games will take its spot, namely Earth Under Siege, which I think I should be getting a copy of to review or to do something on. I don't know, but I'm really excited about that one because it looked real good, and they're going to have a reprint soon. So it's unfortunately Assassin's Creed. I would never ever recommend getting the collector's edition. If you see the base edition for it was on sale for like $70, $60, I think that's where you could take a swing at it. But for the collector's edition, no, this thing's like $300, and that is not a good thing. And then finally, another campaign game that's getting the chop. And I've already spoken to my former friend and nemesis, Josh, who gave me this as a present and said, yes, we're going to play this together. And then we played, I don't know, 10 scenarios of it. And then he never played it with me again. That is Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven, which you can see, but remember when we thought Gloomhaven's box was big? Do we remember that? Assassin's Creed just like blows it out of the water. That's it being on the back corner. You can see that's still got so much space in it. Gloomhaven is a great game that I am going to play digitally. And I also have Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion in a smaller box that I can get and really tear into, and if I find that really strikes the Gloomhaven bug in me, I can go back and I can get Gloomhaven again. But for now, Gloomhaven is either going to live at Josh's house or it's going away. The reason being that Iridia will be arriving soon, and there is no world at which I'm going to dive into the world of Gloomhaven before I dive into Iridia, right? And in terms of other campaign games that I have that I want to tackle, I still have Etherfields, right? I have my campaign games, and I am taking out the ones that are not hitting the table, that we're not making enough time to complete, and I will feel very happy about that, and that means my Pandemic Legacy copies can live to see another day. But Gloomhaven is a fun game that I think nobody needs to own anymore because it's now available digitally. I don't know, I think I will be able to get a lot more of my enjoyment from Gloomhaven digitally rather than going through the copious, annoying setup of my friggin' binder of map tiles over there, the bad storage system that didn't exist whatsoever in this game that I made out of those plano boxes. I don't know, but it is getting gone, and I feel very good about this decision because I was only holding on to it to try to pressure Josh into playing with me, and I told him that if he didn't play with me in January, then it would go, and it's now September. So it's gotta go. Maybe it'll go to his house, or maybe I'll sell it and then use the money to buy him the digital version, which I got for free, and we can play it there. That's it for this purge. These games are leaving my life. Oh God. And you know what? I think I've cleared out a pretty decent amount of space. Now, I won't tell you that most of these were already in my shame closet, where I put the games that I'm going to get rid of in the little holding tank. Here are the things that I was thinking about getting rid of, and I haven't. Honestly, another one that Josh gave me, Champions of Midgard, which I like. It's like Lords of Waterdeep. I just want to play it more. Mission Red Planet is close to being out the door. Mysterium's close to being out the door because I like Rear Window more. Almost Innocent, well, that one's just going to get lent out for a bit, but I want it back. I enjoy that one. Smartphone Inc. might be on the chopping block, mainly because it feels like an area control, and I think you want more than 2 to 3 players to make that one like really sing. And so at that player count, I don't know if we're going to reach for Smartphone Inc. So it's tenuous, but I think it's good enough that I can say right. Oh, and Kingdom Rush, I have the Element Horde chest or something like that, which I won in a contest and I need to play. So I'm excited to try that one out. I think it could be good, or I think it could be really annoying. Honestly, the insert and punching out all the tokens made me very mad and frustrated, and almost made me want to like just give up and sell the whole thing to begin with. But I'm letting that rage cool, and then maybe I'll get to it. Oh, who has the dang time? I don't know. But what I do know is I appreciate you all being here. This is my purge. Thank you for joining me in the purge. I thought I would have done a lot more horrible deeds than this during the purge, but honestly, some of these deeds are pretty horrible. So I'm not going to go running rampant in the streets right now. I'm just going to stay at home, and I'll do my purging at home, all right? I'll do my nefarious deeds right here on this very table and live very happily with what I've done. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but I do hope that if you haven't gotten rid of games, what are you waiting for? Get rid of them. If you're tracking your stats, go and see what games you haven't played in the last 4 years. It's been 4 years that you haven't played that game. It has been 4 years. It has been 6 years since you haven't played that game. And if you haven't played a game in 6 years, do you really care about it? I don't. You can't possibly, right? You're a different person. So use that as your push to get the things out of your life that you don't need and make room for the thing that you do need and that you want. But think about it. I know there are those things that are on your shelf that have been there for so long. I still have a few. Honestly, I should get rid of Carcassonne, but it just feels like, I got the one with the good art before they changed it and made it horrible art. So there's a lot I could get rid of, realistically, because games are good, games are super replayable, and you want to make sure that you're spending your time on the best one. All right, thanks for being here. Happy purging. I'll see you in the next one. Thumbnail.